Hey guys, it's Jeff from Pressure Luck, and today I am going a little bit cray in the kitchen. We're gonna be over the top today. Now, you heard of a meatball parmesan hero, or a hoagie, or a grinder, or a sub, depending on what part of the country you're from, right? Who doesn't love that? It's delicious meatballs, and I have some seriously delicious meatballs. Wait until you try mine. That you simmer in some sauce, and then you're gonna like lay it into a hero roll, and then top it with cheese, and then bake it, and it becomes melty, and it's amazing. So how about we take that idea and draw on some inspiration from a French onion soup, without any onions in the situation, a deep dish pizza, and that meatball hero parmesan, and then create what's gonna be only known as meatball parm garlic bread bowls. The garlic's optional. Just wait and see for yourself. This one is over the top, it is insane, it is addictingly delicious, and it is going to draw wows from anyone you serve it to. In fact, it's gonna make everyone who you serve this to do this when you put it down. Just wait and see for yourself. The proof is in the results. Let's do it. Meatball parm garlic bread balls. First thing I want to do is I want to preheat my oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Alright, so while the oven's preheating, we're going to make our meatballs, and this is so therapeutic and fantastic and easy to do. What I want to do first is I want to take a large mixing bowl, and to that I want to add in 1 pound of ground beef and a half a pound of ground pork. However, you can totally use 1.5 pounds of a meatloaf mixture of just ground beef, whatever you want to do in terms of the meat, but I do suggest using meat that's not that lean, so like 80%. The less lean, actually, the better and juicier. So I'm gonna add that into my bowl, and then to that I'm going to add in a half a cup of grated Parmesan cheese, 1/3 of a cup of breadcrumbs. I use plain breadcrumbs because we're gonna be seasoning it up as it is, but you can use Italian if you just have Italian. Don't use panko though. I wouldn't use panko, I'd use regular. 2 tablespoons of dried parsley flakes, 2 teaspoons of seasoned salt, as well as a teaspoon each of oregano and black pepper, 1 large egg that I've just lightly beaten, and 1/3 of a cup of whole milk. And now this is the fun part. With clean hands, we're gonna get in there and we're gonna mix everything around, and this is where it's really therapeutic. Getting in there with your clean hands and just squeezing the meat and mixing it together with all the goodies we added in there, almost like you're kneading a dough. Okay, and after about, a minute of doing this, you're gonna just wanna shape it into one giant meatball. You see this? One giant meatball. And this is super easy, like I said, it comes together very much naturally here. All right, now we're gonna take this giant mother meatball and then create baby meatballs from it. So to that, I'm gonna take a baking tray that I'm gonna line with parchment paper, and then I'm gonna take my giant meatball here and pinch off a loaf. That sounded awful. And then just pinch off a meatball like this, about this size, and roll them into sizes about a golf ball size, okay? Like a golf ball size ball, perfect. And then put it on my parchment paper lines tray here, baking tray. And just like this, and there you go, the perfect size meatball. Like a golf ball, like I said. Maybe a little bit bigger, or a little bit smaller. Really, just keep it around there. All right, and here's my last meatball, looking all good. Figure the range between 12 to 16, okay? Because it all depends on how large you roll your balls. I mean, some people like their balls big, some people like the meatballs smaller. It all depends on how big and dense you want your balls. It doesn't make a difference, so it's all gonna cook for the same amount of time. You'll see what I mean. All right, and now that our oven's preheated, we're gonna pop these balls in the oven and make sure they get all nice and juicy. Okay, and I'm gonna pop my meatballs right into the oven here for 25 minutes. That's all it takes. Okay, so while my meatballs are continuing to cook, I am going to now on the stove place a saute pan, about a 4.5 to 5 quart saute pan. It has those nice high walls on it, and set it over to just like a low to a medium low heat. Now I want to add in between 4 to 5 cups of a marinara sauce of your choice. I love Victoria brand from Costco. This is the Costco size. It comes with 2 of these huge jars. I also love the Rayo's brand, which also comes from Costco. It's slightly smaller. This is 40 ounces, which would be 5 cups. I'm gonna add the entire jar. But you don't have to add the whole thing. 4 cups will be sufficient, honestly. Okay, again, and just keep it on low to medium low heat, and then we're just gonna put a lid on it and just let it sit there and simmer as our meatballs continue to cook. This is what's so great about this recipe. While the meatballs are cooking, you're taking care of prepping the bread bowls and the sauce. Now what's gonna set this apart from being a typical meatball parm hero is the fact we're gonna make them meatball parm bread bowls. And you can use any kind of bread bowl of your choice. Just go to your market in the bakery section, pick out a bread bowl, be it a large one or a sourdough one or a smaller one, or you can get one that's semolina with like sesame seeds on it. It's really up to you what you want to do. These are pretty generously sized, and I feel like honestly you could eat one can go to one person, but that's going to be a really hearty meal. You could even split one. But let me show you what we're going to do now. So with each bread bowl, we're going to take a knife here and we're going to carefully cut out like a diameter here. We don't want to go too deep because we don't want to cut through the bottom of the bowl. That's very important to make sure we have a bottom to support everything. You got to have a support for the bottom. And you're going to just kind of do a little operation here where we're going to cut out the top and then just take it off. See that? Perfect. Now from here we can get in there and just rip out some more of the bread, which we're going to want to do. Again, make sure you're mindful of the bottom. I'm also going to scoop out some of the sides because we want to have room in here to put our meatballs when they're done cooking. Okay, that's looking great. Now I'm going to hollow out this one as well. Again, be a little mindful of the bottom. You want to leave some bread in there for sure because it needs to support everything we're going to put in there, and leave a little bit of cushion for the pushing. You know what I mean? And now for all that excess bread we have, our little lids here for this bowl and then for this bowl, plus everything that we ripped out, you can totally save this for later or toast it to make breadcrumbs for the future. You can see what we're going to do now, and that's going to be to make our optional garlic butter sauce. All right, I'm going to show you what I'm going to do to make this. First, I'm going to take a half a stick or 4 tablespoons of salted butter, and I'm going to pop it in the microwave for 30 seconds until it's melted. From there, I'm going to add in 2 teaspoons of grated Parmesan and 1 teaspoon of Italian seasoning. And for the garlic, I'm going to add in either 1/4 of a teaspoon of some garlic base, like Better Than Bouillon roasted garlic base, or you can use 2 teaspoons of like minced garlic from the jar, or just mince your own up, about 2 teaspoons worth. And then just mix all that together. And then you're gonna have the most amazing garlic butter sauce. Take a little silicone brush here and then just kind of like lightly brush the garlic butter sauce inside the bowl. Just dab it, get it on the bottom and on the sides up here. This should be about enough for about 4 bread bowls, by the way, 4 good sized ones. And by the way, if you wanted to put some of the garlic butter sauce on the bread bowl top itself, on the bottom of it there, and have a nice piece of little garlic bread, feel free to do that too. It's completely up to you. So I want to just take some sliced provolone here, and I want to take the provolone and I want to just lay it inside. Now, how large your bread bowl is going to depend upon how many slices of provolone you're going to want to put in there. So I have the bottom there, and I want to just like overlap it. You see what I mean? So the whole thing is kind of coated. So this is 4 slices of provolone. I know it seems like a lot, but it's a Parmesan, right? Even though this isn't Parmesan cheese. But there's Parmesan in the meatballs, so there you go. I'm gonna do the same for the other bread bowl. And just do the same thing, lay in that provolone. All right, so we're all prepared now with our bread bowls. And again, I've done this while everything else is still cooking, although you can do it afterwards, but why not, to save the time and do it now. Okay, and after 25 minutes of my balls cooking in the oven, look at how juicy and delicious they look. Just look at that. All right, we're gonna just put them here for a second. And now I'm gonna set my oven to broil. Okay, and now that my sauce is simmering, we're on low here, I'm gonna take my meatballs one by one and just add them into the sauce. Meatballs should be pretty much fully cooked at this point. You can always cut one open to make sure, but don't worry, because as soon as we put them in here, they're gonna simmer in the sauce, releasing their amazing, delicious juices into it as well. There we go, perfect. And now I'm going to just cover this, again, keep it on low, for about 10 more minutes, and just let them do their thing here. Simmer in the sauce. Okay, and after about 10 minutes of my meatballs simmering, look at all that steam. I am now looking amazing. Look at all of that deliciousness in there. I'm gonna turn it off the stovetop here, and now I'm gonna take a serving spoon. Look at this. And I am going to take my meatballs and put a few of them in each bowl. And if you could really fit, like, it depends on how much room you have in the bowl. I'm gonna say about 3. 3 is the right amount to me. That looks good. And then I'm gonna top it off, of course, with some sauce. And by the way, the heat of the sauce is now gonna be melting that lined provolone inside, which is what we want. You wanna basically fill it so we have just the right amount on top of sauce. Kind of like it's French onion soup here. This is done French onion soup style. Like almost like the meatballs are gonna be serving like the croutons. Then you could sprinkle on some Parmesan cheese. You can use the good stuff or the cheaper stuff, whatever is good for you. And by the way, I should have mentioned this before, make sure you put your bread balls on a parchment paper lined baking sheet before you do any of the transferring of the meatballs into them. It'll make it much easier, so you don't have to lift it. And then I'm going to top off my bread bowl with some mozzarella cheese. You could use as many slices as you want. We already have a bunch of provolone in there. So, like, look, I know there's lots of cheese going on in here. And I know the comments are gonna be like, oh my God, how much cheese did you put in this thing? But we're also putting it in the bread bowl and their meatballs, and we're just going over the top. So that's what this dish is all about. And because of that, I might even go with some more cheese. You don't have to add this much, but why not? I'll just give it a little switcheroo and do the same for this one. This one, 3. Great. I could also elect to put more of the little garlic butter sauce on it if I wish to brush the tops of my bowls. It's completely up to you. If I have any extra, I can always just put it on top, like I said, on the bread top that I cut out. Great. Put that in there. And now that my oven's on broil, I'm gonna pop it in there. And with my oven on broil, I'm going to take this. There you go. We're just gonna pop this in the oven carefully, and we're gonna keep an eye on it as ovens vary. All of them are different. For about 3 to 5 minutes. We're gonna broil that. Okay, and after about 3 or so minutes, give it a look, and okay, that is perfect. Let's take that out of the oven, and we are now going to serve this up. Oh my gosh. Be very careful with it when you take it out. And just look at this. Seriously, look at what we just did. I'm gonna take a spatula here, right underneath it, and I'm going to carefully transfer this gorgeousness to a plate. Look at this. Oh my gosh. And here's its mate next to it. I mean, come on guys, look at this. Meatball Parm garlic bread bowls. Oh my gosh. It's like French onion soup and a meatball parm got together and had an affair at the airport hotel. Oh yeah, and look at this bonus. Garlic bread from the top of this one. Look at that. Waste not, want not. Okay, and because I have to do like a cheese pull situation here, let me get in here and dig out a meatball. And... okay. I mean, this might just be one of the most decadent things I've ever done here. Okay, now we need to try this out. Look at this! It's, oh my gosh, French onion meatball parmesan, okay, with no onions. Let's do it. Okay, folks, this is no joke. Like, seriously, look at this. Look at this. Look what is going on in this bowl right now. Seriously, look at this. Okay. Okay, let's try this out. Woo! It's like all of your meatball parmesan dreams have come true. I mean, I have to, look, I'm just gonna nibble the bowl right now a little bit. Richard, look, come here. Look who's here. Look who is here.
I don't think my stomach is this big.
Okay, well, good. Maybe it's a little smaller than for this one.
It's pretty big too.
It's ridiculous. It's completely ridiculous, but this is one of those things where it's like, here, let me give you a fork. This is one of those things, I think that the kids, they all call it Instagrammable, right? Or something like that, because this is ridiculous. And I'm not gonna be the one who claimed to come up with this idea, but it is truly, like, next level. Like, I mean, come on, look at that. Hold it, get a cheese pull in there, and pose for the camera. Okay. There's garlic bread in here.
I need both hands here.
There's a lot going on here. It's a lot. This is actually something I almost feel like you'd find like at an Italian street fair, because it's so over the top.
No, you can't walk and eat it though.
Yes, you can. Look at it. Watch this. Move out of the way. Watch.
Okay. Well,
you can.
I'm not gonna walk and eat mine.
Guys, this is like, you know, like I said, you can do a meatball hero, right? A meatball parm hero, or you could do a meatball parm bread bowl. It's way too much for one person, honestly. I can't eat all this. I mean, I could eat all this, but I'm not going to eat all this. I will rue the day. But
I'll eat a good bit of it.
I can't get over, there's a lot of cheese in this. There's a lot of cheese. But then again, it's really no more cheese than you'd have, like, I guess, like on a few slices of pizza when you think about it.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of cheese on pizza, especially if it's deep dish. This is almost like a deep dish pizza.
Are there 3 meatballs in here?
With meatballs in a bread bowl. It's literally a combination of a deep dish pizza, French onion soup style, and a meatball parm. It's 3 things in one. And look at this, it's like instead of the cheese going down the onion soup crock, you have it going down the bread bowl here. And because I laced the inside of the bowl with that garlic butter sauce, you have garlic bread in there too. Amazing. Thank you for you enjoying it?
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna go eat it in a more messy manner.
I bet you want a nice good cold Coke to wash that down, don't you? Yeah, might as well. Why not have a Coke at the same time? You're already eating this. Get a Coke to go with it. Forget the zero in the diet. Go for a regular classic. Oh, and Richard, just in case you wanted more bread, the top of the bowl here is garlic. I garlic that out for you in case you want a yarmulke. A garlica. My friends, if you enjoy these videos, check out PressureLoveCooking.com because so many of my recipes live there. I like to try to get creative. Of course, I like to do the classics as well, but I also like to be creative with what I do. Hence this recipe. I've also written 4 best-selling cookbooks, all different colors, so they're easy to find. They are the Instant Pot, and you can make meatballs in the Instant Pot, and I'll link how you can do that in the recipe. Although baking them in the oven is perfectly great as well. But my next cookbook is going to be all about pasta, which, can you imagine adding pasta to this bowl as well? Like, how would that be if we put pasta in here? I think that might be almost too much between the bread bowl and the pasta. But my next book is called Pastabilities. It is the easiest pasta cookbook ever. It is all one pot. The whole book is one pot to boil the water and cook the pasta, and one pan to make the sauce, and then we marry the two together in the pan. It is so good, and there's chapters ranging from everything in there, from the classics to new things, from al forno to one pot. It's all there. You want it? I got it. Check me out at facebook.com/PressureLoveCooking. Make sure you like that page anytime a new recipe like this one comes out. And deals on items, tips, fun things like that. And at Pressure Love Cooking and all the other socials, Instagram, YouTube, subscribe there, follow me, all that stuff. Thank you so much again for watching, my friends. And the next time you want to make a recipe that's gonna have an Instagrammable finish as the goal, well, make my meatball parmesan loaded with cheese in a bread bowl. Enjoy. So good, you forget about licking the bowl clean, you can eat it.